Am I the asshole for yelling at my mom when she acted like nothing happened after my dad cheated? My parents have a great relationship. Well, that's what I thought before what happened. My 14F parents usually have friends over and always tell me I'm free to have friends over. So it wasn't a surprise when I unlocked the front door and could hear my dad and another woman in the kitchen. Since my dad usually calls my name when he hears me opening the door, I thought he probably didn't think I was home yet. I walked to the kitchen to greet my dad, but then I saw it. He kissed the woman on the cheek, a woman that isn't mom. Both of them were turned, facing away from the door so they didn't see me. My dad proceeded to flirt with the woman until I threw my bag on the ground to get their attention. They pulled apart and Dad called out if that was me. I walked into the kitchen and greeted him and the woman, then I locked myself in my room for the rest of the afternoon. I only came out when my mom came home. I helped my mom put away her things and put her weekly flowers in a vase before turning to her and telling her what I saw. She stayed quiet for a moment, then told me that she'll take care of it and that I shouldn't worry about it anymore. A few days go by and nothing happens. There was no fight, no arguments, no sour faces at each other, no divorce. Nothing that would usually happen to cheaters in movies and stuff. It pissed me off how my mom could continue to joke with my dad after what he did and still cook for him. Yesterday after dinner when my dad went to bed, I went at her demanding to know what's wrong with her and how she could go on living a life with dad who cheated. She sighed and told me to drop it, but I didn't. I asked her why she wasn't getting a divorce and why she was putting up with my pa's dad. She glared at me and told me to watch my tone and to not disrespect my dad. Finally I yelled at her asking why she was defending him, and she told me that she'd explain everything once I cooled down. I told my brother, 17, the whole story so he could know the truth about my dad, but he seemed really irritated. He told me to shut up and not tell anyone else in the family about my dad. He said that if mom said she'd handle, she would. I told him she didn't and that they were still acting as if it happened. He glared at me and told me to calm down and talk to mom like an adult if I wanted to act like one instead of just yelling at her. He also called me an asshole for escalating the situation and making dinners awkward. I don't think I'm the asshole, but whatever. Am I the asshole? My after-school activities got cancelled that day and I didn't let my parents know beforehand, so they didn't expect me to be home so early. Edit. I asked my dad about it, but he just avoided answering and told me that him and mom would talk to me about it when I cooled down. What do I have to cool down about? IDK. Edit. Going against what my brother said, I talked to my cousin about it since we're pretty close, 16F. Basically she told me two things. 1. Stop getting influenced by TikTok and Reddit. And 2. Said they're an open relationship. I asked how she knew for sure and she told me to give my parents time to explain this and that it took her mom a month before she finally sat her and my brother down after they caught her with a family friend. After asking, she told me this happened about 5 years ago. Never thought my aunt was like that. And #X200B. You are the asshole. Hear me out. Your parents may be swingers, or have an open relationship. You don't know. Please cool off. Apologize to your mom for yelling at her, then calmly ask, so what's going on? Listen with an open mind. You are the asshole. It sounds like you don't actually know anything. You told your mom what you saw, so trust she handled it. There may be an explanation, seeing as a kiss on the cheek is nothing. Your parents could have an open relationship. Maybe your mom cheated first so your dad gets a hall pass. There could be many explanations, so if your mom doesn't seem mad or bothered by it, then butt out of their marriage. It has nothing to do with you. It sounds like your mom and dad have an understanding that you know nothing about. But I think since you've caught your dad in a situation that you were clearly not meant to see, it's your parents' responsibility to have a conversation with you about it so you're not entirely kept in the dark, especially because this is emotionally affecting you. You are the asshole. You told your mom and now it is between her and your dad. Stay out of their marriage. There are things going on that you don't know about and have no business prying into. You are the asshole. She doesn't have to handle this according to how you see fit. You're 14, so you may not have realized this yet, but life isn't the movies. People deal differently. And #X200B. Or perhaps she's okay with it in an open relationship sense and she does not want to explain it to you. And #X200B. You need to back off. I'm not judging a confused child. What I will say is at 14 I do think you are old enough to have a general sense of what's going on. You saw something that made you uncomfortable and no one has helped you understand or process it. And if your parents do end up divorcing, that is a choice that affects you. I don't blame you for wanting information, and I think both your parents could be handling this better. I think you owe your mom an apology, and that would a great time to approach this in a more honest way. Mom, I'm sorry I lashed out at you. What I saw really upset me and I don't know what's going on. I don't need to know the details, but I am ready to hear what you wanted to tell me. Not the asshole. Everyone on here saying you are the asshole I guess has absolutely no sympathy for you in this situation. It is your business the second that they brought it into the house, which is your home too. This kid is 14 years old. They have every right to have these questions on why the fuck daddy is kissing on someone who isn't mommy in the kitchen. This is a lot of feelings to deal with as a kid. They are the asshole for not explaining the situation of what's going on to their child, if it is an open relationship, before bringing it home. I don't know why everyone is raving about the parents' privacy here. WTF is wrong with you all? Think of how traumatic this could be for which it seems like it is. Again, this kid is 14. Nah. I get you're upset. You don't know what's going on in their marriage, but it looks like you walked in on something that maybe they weren't ready for you to see. Maybe take a couple of days, then talk to your mom and listen to what she has to say. But in the end, if your mom is okay with what happened, you have to accept that, because it's their marriage. And who knows, they may have an open relationship or be swingers. Woman shrugging, medium light skin tone. Am I the asshole for telling my husband our daughter won't be around my mill unless she shuts her mouth? I'm facing some very weird issues with my mill that I never thought I'd deal with. My husband is red-haired, ginger, and his hair has some soft ring curls. His dad is a ginger as well, so it's genetics. My 1-year-old daughter is also a ginger. I never thought once of a reason why my daughter should feel uncomfortable with her hair color and curls until my mill made it an issue. My mill hates ginger hair. She always tried to convince my husband his skin is empty and his hair is ugly. That happened since childhood. My husband grew up with a lot of self-hate, which he overcame once his inner circle of friends tried to lift him up and encourage him to feel confident. How my husband loves his looks. My mill seems to do the same thing she did to my husband when she's around my daughter. She says stuff like how unlucky she is she got that hair, how she's gonna spend hundreds in her life to dye her hair, how the curls are ugly and not easily tamed, her freckles and all that. My husband has told her multiple times to stop doing that because our daughter will internalize all these thoughts and hate her appearance for no reason. Mill throws tantrums claiming my husband won't let her have an opinion. Every time it happens my husband tries to put a stop to it, but it never works. One of the times she visited, she brought a plastic wig to see what my daughter would look like with brown hair. That's where I spoke up and said, "The joke is over now, enough, you either cut that shit out or get out." She guilt me, telling me how I should be grateful she's looking out for my daughter so she'll avoid being bullied. She threw one of the usual tantrums about being entitled to her opinion and left. Once she left, I told my husband that his mom won't be allowed around our kid again unless she shuts the fuck up and stop trying to force insecurities on my kid. I want my kid to love herself growing up, and if her grandma causes her insecurities instead of self-love, she has no business being around. My husband said that his mom is indeed being ridiculous, but I'm taking it too far, suggesting she doesn't see the kid. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. One of the times she visited, she brought a plastic wig to see what my daughter would look like with brown hair. WTF. That's where I spoke up and said, "The joke is over now, enough, you either cut that shit out or get out." She guilt me, telling me how I should be grateful she's looking out for my daughter so she'll avoid being bullied. Lol, she is the bully? I don't understand your husband. She did this to him his whole life and gave him so much problems. But he still wants her to spend time with your daughter while acting like that? Not the asshole. If she hates ginger hair, then why in hell did she marry and have children with a ginger? Absolutely cut her out if she won't STFU. Your mill is a bully and you have to protect your daughter from that. Hubby needs to get on side or this won't stop. Good luck. Why did your mill marry a ginger man if she hates gingers? Not the asshole. The only one bullying your kid is your mill. Not the asshole. She fucked with his self-esteem his whole life and he's saying you're out of line? I wouldn't let that toxic woman anywhere near my baby if I were you. Your mill is purposely trying to cause emotional trauma to your small child, the same damage she did to your husband. And by saying she isn't allowed to see your daughter anymore because she is consistently stomping over whatever boundaries you and your husband put in place, is you going too far? Mill is toxic as hell. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Bullying kids to keep them from being bullied. That's brilliant. Your mill sounds unhinged. Why did she marry a ginger if she finds them so repulsive? She can have her bullshit opinion in the privacy of her own home. Alone. Gingers are gorgeous. Not the asshole. If she can't treat both your husband and your child with respect, she can't visit. It's that simple. What she's saying is not opinion. It's just flat-out bullying, and no one should be giving it any credence at all. Those words, out of her mouth, should be treated as they are. Malignant and unacceptable. If that means her opinion is malignant and unacceptable, then so be it. That is her problem to overcome, not yours. Am I the asshole for refusing to pay a missed appointment fee? I had an appointment to get my hair cut and colored last weekend. They have a policy which I was never made aware of, that canceling an appointment with less than 24 hours notice is a $25 fee. When I arrived, the stylist was sick. He had snot running down his face and was hacking and coughing everywhere. He said it was just a cold that went to his lungs, and now he has bronchitis. He indicated that it definitely wasn't COVID, because he already had that and it felt different, but he wasn't even tested. I told him I wasn't comfortable with letting him cut my hair when he was this sick. He laughed at me and coughed at me. So I packed up and went to leave. He and the manager told me I owed $25 if I cancelled. I told them flat out, no way. You want $25, you can sue me for it, and walked out. I left a scathing review online and have literally told everyone I know about my negative experience. I'm actually friends with the stylist's husband. So it is lots of mutual friends and clients I'm talking about this with. The thing that bothered me the most was when he laughed and coughed at me. I really don't care if it is COVID, or the flu, or a cold. I don't want it, and feel he shouldn't be working so close to people when he is sick. The manager called me to insist on the fee, but I'm sticking to my guns. No fee will be paid unless they sue me for it, period. In the meantime, I'll never do business with them again. Not the asshole. Intentionally coughing on someone, with COVID-19 or not, can face assault charges and criminal liability. Not the asshole as far as I'm concerned. Your hairstylist not informing you he had bronchitis until you showed up for the appointment is a legitimate public health reason to walk out and cancel. Not the asshole even if he had been tested, and was sure it wasn't COVID. Bronchitis is still contagious, and still sucks. If you could see the snot on his face, he wasn't even wearing a mask. So he had a respiratory infections, and took zero precautions, and then tried to charge you when you declined, for your own safety. You should stick to your guns, and not use them again, even if they do drop the fee. Definitely not the asshole. It's a freaking pandemic. Getting sick with a cold, bronchitis can make you more susceptible to COVID. Even if you did know about the fee, not the asshole. COVID, or not, sick people should not be around other people. You could be immunocompromised for all they know, and a mild cold could kill you. Tell your experience to anyone you can, because some people can't afford to get sick. Not the asshole. They can insist all they want, but you didn't miss the appointment. You were there. They could take you to small claims court, but they won't win, and they'll end up looking even worse. Not the asshole. He was too sick to be at work with everything going on right now. He works closely with people and is touching each of his clients. He should for sure be tested at the very least. Not the asshole. If the stylist has bronchitis, they need to stay home. You didn't cancel for no reason or do a no-show, you left for a legitimate reason. The fact the manager is backing the fee does say a lot. Am I the asshole for not letting my mill babysit my daughter? My daughter is breastfed exclusively and my mill knows this. When I bring my daughter to my MIL's house, I bring enough breast milk that she will have plenty with all the bottles and equipment for her. I've recently found out she is only feeding my daughter formula because she believes breast milk is dirty and has been throwing out all my breast milk. She said to my face breast milk is dirty because mothers who have sex pollute their own bodies. She has never liked me and I've tried to get along with her, but my husband just keeps his heads down and refuses to speak up in my defense. I've hired a babysit and won't let my mill babysit my daughter and my husband, and I have been fighting because she is crying to him and he doesn't see it was a big deal how she is fed. I feel like my family is getting split apart. I'm gritted my teeth and let my mill walk all over me because of my husband, but this is outrageous to me because it should be my choice how I feed my baby. But am I wrong for not letting her babysit her anymore because I don't trust her to follow how I want to feed my baby? Not the asshole. 1. Your husband should have taken your side and stood up to his mother too. You are her mother and you get to decide what's best for her, not grandma. She already raised her share of kids 3. I would not leave her alone with your child for extended periods of time again, considering she is spewing very strange, hateful excuses as to why she doesn't like breastfeeding that don't make sense. Not the asshole. The only person splitting your family apart is a woman calling you dirty. You don't have to accept that. Your husband needs to get on your side ASAP, or the implication is that he agrees with her treating you that way. You don't have to accept that either. In which case, splitting apart your family would be a healthy choice for you. Splitting apart families isn't inherently bad if the family you're leaving behind was hurting you. She said to my face, breast milk is dirty because mothers who have sex pollute their own bodies. I'm sorry. Does she know how reproduction works and how she ended up having your husband and how you ended up having your daughter? My God. Your husband needs to stand up to this woman and defend you. He isn't married to her, he is married to you. You are Sue, not the asshole. I'm so sorry your husband lacks a spine. Significant others need to learn how to stand up to their families of origin when they decide they want to degrade the person they married, in long-term relationship. Have a talk with your husband. Let him know that if he can't defend you against these people, then you get to make these decisions without him complaining. Not the asshole. OMG, if she's telling you this now, imagine what she will be telling your daughter when she's old enough to understand. Oof. Your mill and husband suck. Your MIL's toxic views and your husband's refusal to stand up for his partner are a recipe for disaster here. You will not be happy if things continue on this way, which they will unless you do something about this. Not the asshole for not letting your mill babysit your kid, but if you want that kid to grow up in a healthy emotional and psychological environment, you're gonna have to do some hard work here, and by that I mean you need to tell your husband how he's hurting you and to be better. To support you as a partner should. To cut off your mill and anyone else like that who does not care for you or your baby. Stop gritting your teeth. Commit to making sure your child has the best possible life, even if it means making these difficult choices. Not the asshole in any way whatsoever. Mill and husband are both assholes. No one can feed your baby however they want. That's not how life works, and if they can't respect how your baby is fed, then that's their problem and not yours. You husband is shit for not standing by you or supporting you. I would honest to God leave my boyfriend and cut his entire family off without a second thought if they pulled shit like this. Not the asshole. Your husband for not sticking up for you is. And your mill for going against your wishes and feeding the baby formula because she thinks it is dirty. Your husband needs to pull his head out of the sand and stick up for you. Not the asshole. I'd be incredibly pissed off. She lost all trust. Simple, I do not leave my child with an untrustworthy sitter. Your husband needs to get his head out of his ass.